Hello, I'm David Pawson. I'm a Bible teacher and I've written some books, and I want to tell you about one of them. It's a rather unusual title, Jesus Baptizes in One Holy Spirit. That's putting a number of texts in the Bible together in one title. Let me explain. When John the Baptist prepared the way for Jesus, he said two things about Jesus to those who were listening to him. He said, first, he will take away the sins of the world. And second, he will baptize you in the Holy Spirit. Now, the interesting thing is that he only said the first thing once to two people. And yet the church has picked that up all over the world, and it's quoted in communion services the world over. The other thing he said, he will baptize you in the Holy Spirit, he said it repeatedly to everybody he baptized. And what he's saying is, don't think that baptism in water is all you need. Baptism in water deals with your past, but it doesn't deal with your future. It washes away the past, but it doesn't change the future in any way. So he said, I can baptize you in water, but I can't do the other baptism for you. Someone coming after me will do that for you. And at that stage, John the Baptist didn't even know who it would be. But it turned out to be his own cousin, because God said to him, when you see the Holy Spirit descend on someone, that's the one who can give people the other baptism in the Holy Spirit. Now, that's at the beginning of every one of the four Gospels. And yet there are churches in the whole world that never mention that. Never talk about Jesus as the one who baptizes in the Holy Spirit. What does it mean? Well, I had to write a book about this. It's such a big subject and many discussions have taken place. Somehow, receiving Jesus and receiving the Holy Spirit have got lumped together and treated as one and the same thing. But in fact, the New Testament talks about believing in Jesus and receiving the Holy Spirit. And it's perfectly possible to have one without the other. But you're an incomplete Christian if you're like that. Which is why Paul, when he went to Ephesus, he said to some apparent disciples of Jesus, did you receive the Holy Spirit when you believed? Meaning when you believed in Jesus. In other words, it's perfectly possible to have one and not the other. You see, Christianity is fully Trinitarian. It's to have a relationship with the Father, a relationship with the Son, Jesus, and a personal relationship with the Holy Spirit. And for years I had the first two, but I didn't have the third. Well, now this book is a pretty deep sort of book. It's for those who are prepared to think, but I don't apologize for that. The greatest unexplored territory in the world is between your two ears. And God gave us a mind to think with and told us to love God with all our minds. So this is a book for Christians who want to think. And it's examination of what the New Testament means by being baptized in the Holy Spirit. And that's really the heart of it. In fact, there are 2 pages, I'm not sure that I can find them quickly, where there's a chart which shows all the different Christian views on baptism in the Holy Spirit, all of which seem to miss out on some part of the New Testament teaching. So what is meant when John the Baptist said he will baptize you in the Holy Spirit? That's what this book is about. And it's something for every believer, because Jesus wants every believer to be filled with his Holy Spirit. He wants us to know the power that brings, but he also wants us to know the purity that brings, because we're never going to be able to do what Jesus tells us to do without his power, and we'll never be able to influence the world without his purity. And we just cannot produce those two things ourselves. We need the Holy Spirit to do just that. So my question really is, have you been baptized in the Holy Spirit? Has Jesus done that for you? If not, and you want to know what it's all about and what the New Testament teaches, then get this book.